What's good, fam? Welcome to another episode of Stirring the Pot Podcast. This is Yo DDA, aka 509 Reasons. We're back with another one. We got some special guests in the building. You know, I got my guest, my boy, Jean
Yo, yo.
What's happening? What's happening?
How you doing, brother?
Good, man. I'm good. We also got my boy, Cuzzo, Carlo J.
What's good? What's good?
Chilling, man. How are you, bro?
Doing good. Looking forward to this convo.
Oh man, you already know it's gonna be lit, man. It's you know, it's typical stuff, dog. It's like, you know, when you hollering at your boys, except we're just doing it on wax. So, you know, we'll keep it funky. Too bad we ain't got no Hennessy to keep you loose, but you know, I don't think you need
that. I got a Rebel though. Don't worry, I got you.
I know you stay with a Red Bull in your hand, dog. Bro, you drinking a matcha?
No, I'm drinking some tea, some ginger tea.
Okay.
I keep it simple, brother.
I was about to say you missing the quarter zip, dog. There's a quarter zip matcha thing going on right now.
I'm not there yet. Give me a couple years.
Oh, that's for the YNs though, so you might be past that. It is what it is.
I'm young in spirit.
I did say less, dog. All right, so we gonna get into it, man. Appreciate y'all boys stepping in there, you know, taking your time out to jump in and stir the pot. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get it cooking in this joint today for sure.
Sounds good.
So right now, fire topic that's going on right now is I wanted to start off with the ICE thing, but we'll get into that. But first off, I definitely want to touch on this conflict, this man-made conflict by the orange man in the office. Trump decided to you know, go downstairs and go jump the homies or go jump another country, more so Venezuela. I think it was on January 4th. Trump decided on his own accord, you know, no delegation with Congress or telling the people that, you know, he was going to do anything. Just decides, overnight we're going to go ahead and bomb the country and take the whole president. Yeah, which is kind of wild. I want to touch on a little bit more, but I know, Carlo, you're from Venezuela. You know what I'm saying? So
yes, sir.
Give me your 10 cents, because I know right now people you have two sides, right? As far as in this country, the American thought process is one side is like, how are you gonna go to a whole nother country and, you know, take the president? Is that even legal? That's one.
It's crazy.
Two, you have the red hats, make America great again, saying that, yes, that's great. That's in the best interest, even though they said they voted for a president that says they want to stay out of conflicts with other countries.
Correct.
Yeah.
Hypocrisy is crazy. But anyways, give me your 10 cents real quick on Venezuela, bro.
So this topic, believe it or not, goes back. It is deep rooted back to the American Revolution. Believe it or not.
Okay, I didn't see that coming. Now
go
ahead.
There's a lot in the background that people don't understand. And when people start understanding what's going on in the background, then they get to see what geopolitics is all about. Geopolitics is what moves the world. Believe it or not, it is not cash. It is not power. It is geopolitics. That's what determines what countries can do, what countries cannot do, what laws could be written, what laws cannot be written. It's all about geopolitics. So when I say it goes back to the American Revolution, is because during the American Revolution is when the game of geopolitics actually changed. Okay. And believe it or not, at that time, It is about to be shocking what I'm about to say, but the world power at that time was France. France was the world power during the American Revolution. When Napoleon Bonaparte was conquering all of Europe and decided to help the United States gain its independence, that is when the game changed. Number one, Napoleon Bonaparte had two armies.
Okay.
It had the Anglo-Saxon army in Europe, and it had the African Negroes Haitian army here on the Western Hemisphere. Only country in the world to have two armies simultaneously battle at the same time and win all its battles and all its wars at the same time. That's how you have the Louisiana Purchase. That's how you have the colony of Saint-Domingue. And that's how you have a whole bunch of other islands in the Caribbean that belong to France. Now, when the Americans were trying to have their independence, they were not able to beat Britain, the United Kingdom. They could not beat them. That is when they asked France to help out. And instead of Bonaparte sending the Anglo-Saxon army from Europe, he decided to send the Haitian army from the Caribbean of Little Haiti up to the United States to help the Americans win the revolution. That is why there's certain treaties that were enacted at that moment that allowed Haiti or Haitians to belong in certain societies without them realizing that they were able to. So, out of all the slaves, Haitians were the smartest one. They knew how to read, they knew how to write, because they were all not just in the plantation, but they were part of an army. Okay? So, when Haitians helped America gain the independence, they were able to stay in the southern part of the United States. That's why you have, when you go to Georgia, all you see is Haitian descendants. Louisiana, purely Haitian descendants, to the point that they speak Creole. Chicago, a Haitian built it. Guess what? The architect of the White House is a Haitian. Okay, so we're talking about Negroes that were extremely intelligent under the French rule. But guess what? That happened in 1776. Now you push forward to Haiti's independence in 1804, which is literally a few years later. When Haitians revolted and gained their independence, the superpower in the world became Haiti. I know, it's shocking, but history reveals it. When Haitians gained their independence, it was the Black Army that fought the Anglo-Saxon army of France. So it's like a civil war, if you want to look at it that way. Because remember, France had two armies. It had the Anglo-Saxon army and the Black African slaves army. Okay? When Haiti is gaining their independence, it's technically the Black army versus the White army. That's exactly what happened. And the Black army just beat the superpower, which is France, Napoleon, causing him to sell the Louisiana. That's how the United States geographically, now we're going back to geopolitics, geographically became bigger because of the Louisiana Purchase, because Haiti was beating their asses. All right, so Haiti became the superpower of the world, to the point where the Haitian army helped liberate 5 other nations in South America. Liberate Greece, liberate Mexico, liberate certain parts of Eastern Europe. Okay, we're talking about Greece, Turkey, and a whole bunch of other countries Yes, sir. The Haitian army was traveling to all these different countries, helping them become free from the oppressors, which were Europe. Okay.
Well, I'm not sure about the other stuff that you said. I definitely want to do the research, but I know as far as Greece goes, they didn't physically send military over there. What they did was like, okay, here we're gonna give you some coffee, and you can sell that coffee, something like that, so that way you can get the money to get the weapons to fight I forgot the rulers at that time. I forgot the names of them. But they gave them the resources to fight the oppressors and
You're
help
right,
liberate
but
themselves. And then they also recognized them as an independent nation.
well, let me tell you why the Haitian army was so mobile. Remember, when Haiti became independent, they were the first nation in the world to abolish slavery.
Yeah.
Not only that, they called on every slave in the world, if you want to be free, come to Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
So guess what? There was a mass migration of slaves throughout the whole entire colonies that were fleeing slave traders that ended up in Haiti.
Okay.
Okay, you have Cuba, Puerto Rico, Saint Martin, Dominica, even Brazil. You having a whole bunch of slaves that are fleeing and going to Haiti, because when Haiti made that statement and abolished slavery, it was one of the biggest punches that they could have done back then to every single one of the colonizers.
Okay.
Okay, so that was that. But guess what? South America is looking at this and they're like, hold on, the smallest country in the hemisphere just became free. What is it that they know that we don't know? So when Simon Bolivar started his revolution, he was actually exiled
Venezuelan,
because
isn't it?
yep, Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Panama, Bolivia, Argentina, Paraguay, Nicaragua, all of those countries are all involved in it. Okay,
Mhm.
so when he was losing, he was exiled. And where did he go? To Haiti, Pétionville.
Mm-hmm.
And while he was in Haiti, he literally sat there and learned every trick in the book. So when he went back to know how to beat the Spanish rulers. So when Alexandre Pétion sent them back to Haiti, what he said is the only way you're gonna go back to Haiti is you have to abolish slavery, number one, and
Mm-hmm.
number two, Haitians are welcome in South America in perpetuity.
Mm.
When Simon Bolivar agreed to that, that is when the Haitian army, a portion of it, around 10,000 men, went with Simon Bolivar down to South America to defeat the Spanish rule. So that is why, till this day,
Yeah.
one of the major treaties when it comes to Venezuela, Colombia, and Ecuador, Haitians do not need visa to travel into those three countries, and they are welcome, and immigration does not touch them at all.
Mm.
That's
Okay.
why during the Papa Doc era, the mass migration of Haitians from Haiti, they did not come to the United States. They went to South America.
Okay. So that's kind of is that kind of your story? Because obviously, well, obviously to me, but to those who don't know you, you are Haitian, but you are
Exactly.
Venezuelan
Correct.
by birth.
Correct. So in South America, the term Afro Latino is old news to us. This is going back to the beginning.
Yeah.
There is no such division as you will see in the rest of the world when it comes to South America. Okay. Afro-Latinos are considered mestizo, just like indigenous and Spanish rule. So there is no separation between the two, okay? Because of those treaties from back when liberation. So you have Haiti being the world power at this time. The world noticing that castrates Haiti, where Haiti now has to pay for the independence in order to be recognized. The richest colony in the world became the poorest one in that instant, castrating Haiti, making Haiti no longer the superpower of the world. But guess what? There's still a portion of the Haitian army in South America. So what's going to happen to that part of the army? Well, guess what? During the occupation of the United States in Haiti and in Santo Domingo, that is when they officially dismantle the Haitian army. Till this day, Haiti is the only country in the world that does not have an army that could protect its sovereignty.
Yeah.
Anyone could technically invade Haiti at this point in time, at any point in time, if they feel like it. There is no army protecting it. There is no country that has taken the responsibility to protect Haiti.
That's a fact.
Okay? So that's fact number one. But guess what? As I said, a portion of the army is in Venezuela. So this is where in 1823, the Monroe Doctrine is enacted. James Monroe, a U.S. president, remember, at this time, the United States is not the world power that it is today. It is beginning. But in order for them to implement their power, they needed to create certain treaties and certain agreements between other nations that will give them that power. So in 1823, James Monroe came up with the Monroe Doctrine. What does that doctrine say? Anything on the Western Hemisphere, the United States of America has the policing power to either become part of, squash, or introduce or start wars, anything on the Western Hemisphere.
Monroe Doctrine.
Limiting Europe from interfering in any one of their colonies here in the Western Hemisphere. The only person that could police it is the United States. That's the Monroe Doctrine. But guess what? We got to go forward. In 1970s, Theodore Roosevelt introduced the Roosevelt Controllery.
Okay.
What exactly is that? Well, guess what? In 1903, Europe sent gunboats to the coast of Venezuela to collect debt that Venezuela owed at that time. They ignored the Monroe Doctrine and deliberately sent gunboats blockading and embargoing Venezuela until they paid their debts. That is when the United States literally chased them all away. So in order for that to be solidified, Theodore Roosevelt introduced an amendment to the Monroe Doctrine saying the day that any country on the Eastern Hemisphere crosses over to the Western Hemisphere without alerting the United States, it is signs of war.
Okay.
So ever since then, you do not see any country from the Eastern Hemisphere sending either gunships or submarines, except for one, which is Russia. We're going to touch Russia in a little bit because Russia has to do with what happened on January 4th. Okay.
All right. So let's condense it just a little bit, and we're gonna get a little bit faster to the point.
Okay. So now in the 1970s.
No, let me stop you.
Yep. Well, I'm getting to the point of what happened on the 4th now.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. So in the 1970s, there was an oil shortage here in the United States.
Okay.
That's what created the speed limit of 55, believe it or not. Okay, because of that oil shortage. Now,
not people crashing and dying. It's like, there's not enough oil. You gotta slow
exactly.
your ass down. Crazy work.
Now, when that oil shortage happened, it was because 5 countries embargoed the United States.
They were bullying the U.S. I like that. I like that talk. Go ahead.
Now, in that period of time, that is when the world realized how you are able to beat the United States without firing a single gun. Those 5 countries were Iran, Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, China, and Iraq. Now, I don't know if you notice in those 5 countries, those are 5 major oil exporters in the world. There is an organization called OPEC, which those 5 countries initiated and founded. And because that entity was the one that embargoed the United States, that is when the United States, for the first time in its history, suffered one of the biggest blows to its power without a single gunshot that was fired. So what did the United States do in return? Okay, you did that to us. Now it's payback, right? The saying is payback is the bitch, right? Guess what? United States has invaded Iran, has invaded Iraq, has negotiations with Saudi Arabia, has not touched China except in World War II, but who they just invaded? Venezuela. So when I tell you there's more to the story that needs to be said, these are going back to those treaties and embargoes and all of these things that were happening way before our generation, even back to the American Revolution that nobody seems to know about.
Okay. So like one of the major reasons I was like I got to get you on here is because I seen you put a post the other day after everything happened, and you was pretty much saying that if you are not from Venezuela, you do not need to be talking about it. So
correct. And the reason why is because Venezuela is one of those countries that it is not militarily the strongest, but economically it is one of the strongest country in the world. Second one is Haiti. That's the one I tell you at the beginning that the Venezuela topic and the Haitian topic are intertwined, because not only when you talk about geopolitics, there are the 2 best locations that if you needed to attack the Western Hemisphere, that is where you will set up your base to attack the Western Hemisphere, both in Venezuela or La Isla Española, because they are centrally located exactly tactically for military purposes in order for you to take advantage of the United States and some. Okay. So Maduro, yes, he was a dictator, but guess what? He wasn't the one making the decisions.
Okay, who's making the decisions?
Maduro comes into play in the 90s when Hugo Chavez has the coup d'etat against Carlos Andres Perez. This was an American play on the chessboard that turned sour. In the 70s, during the oil boom in Venezuela, Venezuela became one of the most influential countries in Latin America. Everything was booming. Agriculture. When you're talking about infrastructure, the oil, rare minerals, their coffers became to grow. So in the 70s and in the beginning of the 80s, Venezuela at that point, its bolivar was actually more in value than the US dollar. Enter in the 90s, when Carlos Andres Perez becomes president, one of the first things that happened is that he is accused of money laundering. Why? Because the coffers were so much in excess that people did not know where some of the money was going. That is when the United States, with the CIA, infiltrated the government and created what today is Hugo Chavez and the socialist movement. So when Hugo Chavez gave that coup d'etat in 1992 and failed, he was in prison. When he was in prison, that was the best thing that Venezuela could have done for its country. But guess what? Rafael Caldera was in the running to become president again for a second time. That is when the Americans told Caldera, we could help you win the election only if you free Hugo Chavez and its conspirators at that time. So that was the promise that Rafael Caldera ran on in order for him to win the election. The first president in Venezuela to win the election without any support of any major parties. Okay? So that's just to show you how the Americans were involved in the election. Okay? So Rafael Caldera wins the election, gives its promise, frees Hugo Chavez and Maduro and all its conspirators, and now Rafael Caldera dies, and who becomes president? Hugo Chavez.
Why did Caldera need help? Because Caldera he
did not have support. He didn't have support to win the election.
But at that time, Venezuela was doing well, even though
they were doing very well.
The excess of money that they couldn't account for, the country was doing well.
Correct.
So is that a misinformation campaign that made people turn on him, or?
Yeah. So pretty much what happened was, at that time with Carlos Andres Perez, the propaganda was, he's money laundering, he's stealing money from the government. Certain things are not being done, even though the economy is booming, right? Let's put it this way: in the 60s, Romulo Benacor was one of the first presidents to pay its debt to the American, where he literally gave a check of $60 million without a blinking of an eye and acquitted its debt. That's how much the oil boom was during at that time. But the propaganda to change the narrative and have the American puppet in the seat needed to happen, and Rafael Caldera did not have the support in order for him to become president. So that was the promise that he needed to say with the American of the CIA to become president. First president in the nation's history to win the election without any support or any nomination of any major party.
Okay. All right. So let me condense this a little bit. let's fast forward because you did give the background about everything that happened. Let's fast forward a little bit, just for the sake of the time in the conversation.
Okay.
January
So when
4th.
Yep.
January 4th happens. The U.S. goes and takes in the middle of the night, bombs a couple places just to kind of like send a little distraction from what we're told. Goes in there.
It's not distraction.
All right, I'm gonna say this, and then definitely you tell me your part, because
Go ahead.
obviously
Go ahead.
you have
Yeah.
more info than I.
Go
Goes in
ahead.
there.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way, they just, with little losses of life, no lives lost on the American side, U.S. wise, the military wise, and then there's some civilian deaths from what we're told, and then some Cuban security, because they said there's Cuban security for Maduro. So like 40 people dead.
Team.
Security team. They take them in the middle of the night. So tell me, and then the U.S. says it's not an actual military situation. It's a law enforcement situation, meaning they had warrants for Maduro's arrest. So they had law enforcement with the assistance of the U.S. military go in there, take Maduro and his wife in the middle of the night with relatively silence, because like I don't understand how a whole president is taken. My phone is now blowing up. There's no, like, you know what I'm saying, in the middle of the night. To me, this is kind of silent. It's loud silence. It's kind of weird.
So number one, the bombings were not random. Okay. The bombings were strategically and not just were strategically, but they
not random, but yeah,
they were not random. They actually neutralized the country. So this is what makes America Army such a powerful force. It's not just military wise. When America attacks you, it attacks you from various fronts at the same time without you even realizing what's going on. And you get discombobulated and you lose your focus. So one of the first things that they did was cyber attack. They shut down the electrical power grid. You asking, what's the need of that? Well, guess what? Sonar, air defense, all that runs on power.
Most definitely.
How are you going to detect when there's an intrusion in your territory if you do not have the equipment to read the flight patterns, the submarines,
copy.
the ships? So you don't have that power. Not only that, the bombings exploded in a hydro plant, the major one to give power to the capital, which is Caracas. So that's one of the explosions. The other 8 explosions were military bases that are near Caracas that will be quick in response when there's an intrusion.
Okay.
Remember, Caracas is literally sitting in a port, just like Port-au-Prince. Like I said, you're going to see a lot of similarities here. Okay. Port-au-Prince is a port. The whole capital is sitting on a port in the valley. Caracas is the same exact thing, in a valley, in a port, which means there are strategic places for the army to know what's going on in the valley, and that's where the explosions happen, at those army posts that will neutralize the country at its whole, where the city cannot react because all the posts are neutralized. Okay? So that's what happened. So when they grabbed Maduro, they did not grab Maduro at the presidential palace. They grabbed him in a military bunker that was fortified specifically for this reason. So you're asking how they knew this. Then that's where the CIA comes into play.
Okay, hold on right quick.
Yep.
Gene, what's your thoughts so far from?
That this whole situation is absolutely bonkers, bro. Like what is absolutely happening right now? I mean, I'm at a point where I don't even really know what to believe anymore. You're hearing so many different narratives from so many different corners of the internet. You don't know what's true, and it's refreshing to have an actual Venezuelan to kind of speak on it and to give us a bit of a backstory. But like, it doesn't matter how much information you give me. This just sounds absolutely just bonkers to me, bro. Like, what is happening right now?
So like when the news first broke out, like you woke up and you probably started scrolling on your phone. What was your thoughts?
My first thought was, this will be a significant moment in history where America has been recognized as a mob state, right? Like what he did was literally gangster behavior, right? He didn't consult Congress. Right now, with the backlash, the UN is saying that they probably violated international law, from my understanding, right? Like he's not asking for permission from nobody, right? He's literally doing whatever he wants to do. He first tests the waters and robs them of their oil and sees what they're going to do, and nothing was done, right? And it's like, all right, well
Correct.
then we're just going to take your whole shit. So they went to the man's house, took him and his wife, and he's taken somebody who's not even an American citizen and bring them to the court of law. Like, how does that even work? Like, how does that even
Well,
work?
In Brooklyn,
that that
like he
there's
found it.
laws that let him do that. That's the problem.
Okay.
So number one, understand something. The UN Charter does not affect the United States. Reason
Okay.
why? They have a veto power.
Gangster shit.
So anything the UN decides, it does not affect a number of countries because they have veto power. So doesn't matter what the UN says.
Yeah.
Okay. So guess what? Let's say the UN finds it unlawful. The US must return Maduro immediately. Well,
Yeah.
guess what? The US doesn't have to do shit. I have the veto power.
I
It's
mean,
going back.
we already know
Case closed. Case
we already
closed.
we already know it's do what I say. And what
Or
it say?
suffer the consequences.
Yeah, well,
No,
I guess it goes back to I guess it goes back to what you're saying about geopolitics, right? It's all about
There you go.
what countries
There
can,
you
what
go.
certain countries can do, and what certain countries can't.
Exactly.
all right.
So
So
the minute you understand geopolitics, then you start to understanding why certain countries get to do whatever they want in certain parts of the world,
all right. So with that,
because they do have veto power over the UN Charter.
all right. So let's kind of pause there, right? Because we have a lot of back and forth on these people's internet, which first off, they have no idea what geopolitics is.
Yeah,
Even as form as I am, I'm I'm not too in depth with the geopolitics part as a
sure,
whole.
Okay.
More so maybe the politics of here, the
sure,
gangsterisms of here, but not the on the world stage, right?
sure,
So we have a lot of
Well,
people on the internet going back and forth. Um, like I said before, there's people who are purely on American soil. We have people who are, oh, that's great. They done took a dictator away and this, and that. And it's like, of course, at the end of the day, whether he's a dictator or not, that is not America. And that's for the people of Venezuela to decide what to do with with their ruler or the problems they have. It's the same way here. Like if there's an issue here in this country, I'm not expecting Canada, I'm not expecting Brazil or Europe to come deal with the dictator here, because the dictator here, if they have no type of controlling or they're bombing another country, what is it their problem to have to deal with a problem that we have? So in the sense of like them going over there to Venezuela, dictator, to go deal with them, take their dictator off their land, bombing their country, harming citizens. You know what I'm saying?
So can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
I don't mean to cut you off, but my question is, you said something earlier that kind of stuck with me. You said this is not America. What do you mean by that?
Who?
You said you said at the end of the day,
Mhm.
this is not America. What did you mean by that exactly?
This is not America. When did I say that? I'm trying to.
I'm
Yeah.
guessing he means based on the Constitution. It is not America.
Okay.
But
So yeah.
But here's the thing. America is two different things. You have the Constitution, which is the moral piece of
Oh,
America.
was I mean? You
But
mean
then,
this is me trying to say this is not an American problem? Maybe I was trying to say.
Oh no, I think you were trying to say like this is not like from what I gathered from it. And I forget exactly what you were saying around that, but it just really stuck with me because what I gathered from
like
what you were saying is the
American
behavior.
character.
Yeah, the American character and its behaviors. Like this is what we're doing, what we're displaying is not American. That's what I gathered from what you said.
Oh, I that's so far from my mindset. I might have
Oh,
misspoke.
okay. Oh, okay. No, that's I misinterpreted. That's my fault. I just wanted to kind of be clear on that. That's my bad.
But you know what though? It's funny that you brought that up because believe it or not, America is literally two things. You have the constitutional America, which is the moral piece,
Yeah.
and then you have American interests around the world. So this is how I gather it. Because remember, I am coming from international coming in. When you say this is not America, you're referring to the constitutional America. But guess what? That is America because that is American interest. Back to the doctrine, to the Monroe Doctrine. So the reason why the United States is able to do certain things, number one, they're one of the 5 countries in the UN that have veto power. Number two, they have the Monroe Doctrine that gives them permission to police anything on the Western Hemisphere. So when they went inside of Haiti, when they went inside of Nicaragua, when they went inside of Panama, when they went inside of Saint Domingue, when they went inside of Venezuela now, guess what? The Monroe Doctrine gives them that power. So even when the UN convenes and says that is illegal, well, guess what? United States, China, France, Russia, United Kingdom have veto power. That is why those 5 countries can rampage throughout the world without anyone telling them anything.
So you're saying this?
Look at Russia and Ukraine. Who has the nerve to stop them? Why hasn't America stopped them? Look at France and Africa. Why hasn't anybody stopped them? Look at the United States. Why has anybody stopped them? Guess what? The United Kingdom. When you look at Jamaica, Bahamas, Bermuda, and certain African countries, even in the Asian side of things, why has anybody stopped them? China, one of the biggest economical powers around the world, can easily come into your country and sabotage your economy. Why has anybody stopped them?
Geopolitics. What were you gonna say, Gene?
No, I was just asking to kind of clarify something that he did.
Okay, so there you go. That's the geopolitics. Geopolitics really means the country's interests around the world. So those 5 countries have interests throughout the whole entire world.
Obviously, yeah. Well, I mean, the biggest nations and the whole nuclear weapons.
There you go.
Everybody. Yeah, it seemed like everybody's playing a big game of chicken. Big game of chicken. It's like, okay, well, I bet you won't do it. So that's why I guess that's part of it.
So Carlo, let me ask you a question, bro. Like, how do you see this in the next year? maybe even 3 years? How do you see this playing out? I mean, uh, obviously, the United States is going to install a puppet leader for that country. Like, how do you see the economy changing? How do you see their resources being changed over the next few years? Like, how does this play out?
So guess what? For the past 25 years, China and Russia have already rampaged through Venezuela.
Okay, so
Now
there's
is
a
the
conflict
U.S.
there.
Now is the U.S. turn. In other words, so that's why when Trump said what's they need to reimburse us and give us what's rightfully ours, he doesn't mean that they own the oil. What he's saying is enough is enough. These two countries had their time, had 25 years to do whatever the hell they wanted. Now it's our turn. It's our turn to collect now. Our oil prices are going up because OPEC decided to bring up the oil price. Well, not in our backyard. When we have one of the countries, one of the smallest guys with the biggest oil reserves here, why are we not getting our fair share? Did we forget that Venezuela's embargoed? Why is Citgo the only company in Venezuela that's able to mine and refine Venezuelan oil?
So I know, yeah, the U.S. is gangsters. They're like, oh, we're gonna come in there and we're gonna get our stuff. We're gonna get some of this stuff back, right? Some of this oil.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I know
Remember,
there was a big
this year's an election year, guys. Do not forget that part.
yeah.
This year is election year. So you need to prepare the field in order to make sure that the right people get elected for certain things to happen moving forward in the next 5 years and in
You
perpetuity.
talking about America, or were you talking about?
Of course.
All right.
Of course.
All right. So with that being said, yes, there is midterm elections, but let's not forget. And even though these folks are in power right now, the Trump people are in power, make America great again. Let's keep in mind the people who largely voted for this man to go into office are people who said we want America out of other people's politics. We do not want to be fighting everlasting wars, right? So when you say there's elections that are happening this year, it really, I don't see how that is to the benefit of his constituents, because now you're getting into a war, not even a war, but in a situation where you're putting American lives at stake, and there might not be a true benefit to them going over there. Because from what I've heard, from what I've seen, the Venezuelan oil is a thicker type of oil that could be used to make diesel. So it's not widely used, and the main importer of Venezuelan oil is China. The problem is China is actually on its way to going green. So they're really waning off of the oil. So at this point, there's no real benefit for China to keep or need in the future need Venezuelan oil. So it's like you went and took these people's oil and you're gonna be left holding the bag. So it's like, what's the real benefit here? You're sitting on this oil that no one really needs. The only people really importing it for real. Yeah. Quick ask though. I have more questions.
Nah, guess what? Oil is always going to be needed, at least for the next 1,000 years. And let me explain you why. Yes, China is going green, but guess what? In order for it to be green, it needs a large supply of oil. In order for the wind turbines to work properly, simple mechanics, what do you need?
Wind.
Not just wind. In order for the turbines to turn, what do you need? You need to grease up. There you go. Guess what that is?
Petroleum.
That's oil.
Yep.
Guess what? Vaseline. Vaseline. Something that we use on a daily basis. its main compound is petroleum. Hence the name petroleum jelly. Lip balms has
Yeah,
oil.
yeah, but I really don't see. I really don't see that China going to keep playing this game with U.S. like that. To be honest with you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not China's turn anymore. Now it's the U.S. turn. So everything went up in the past 3-4 years. So this year, where the election's coming up, I don't know if you notice this. Every time when there's presidential election, that's when the gas price all of a sudden drops $1.50. Have you ever noticed that?
Okay, yeah.
During presidential elections, the gas pump drops $1.50 and then it jumps right back up after January 10th. You never noticed that?
Yeah, I'm gonna notice that. That way, people gonna be like, "Yo, look, we put the prices down."
There you go. There you go. So there is benefit to what's going on. Now, as a Venezuelan, I have mixed feelings about the situation because one, legally, it was wrong. Legally, it was wrong. You literally just invaded another country. You declared war. You neutralized the country in its response. If you had just neutralized the president's security team, that is different. You are capturing a criminal. But you neutralize the defenses of a country to the point that the country right now is defenseless. So legally is wrong. But guess what though? Maduro and its goons needed to go back to prison.
All right, so I'm gonna be super direct with my questions. Just like I said, I'm just trying to keep the conversation like quick, fast in a sense. So I'm gonna be very direct with my questions. Number one, the stuff that everyone's talking about. U.S. going over there and taking Maduro, president of the country, whether it's he's been there ruling legally, illegally. That's a whole nother conversation. But with that being said, you being a native of Venezuela, do you think the way they went about taking Maduro is the right thing or not? Even though
No, it's not.
okay.
It's not the right way. But he needed to be gone. And it's goons.
Okay, so that's the question. He needed to be gone, but your answer is the U.S. should not have intervened in the way that it did.
Exactly. There's other
Okay.
ways. For the past 25 years, they have embargoed Venezuela. They have crippled Venezuela enough.
Okay, so now with that being said, he's not there. He's been taken to New York. He's in prison in Brooklyn.
Yep.
Awaiting trial on drug charges. All
Yep.
right. So
Which now are somewhat being dropped because now I don't know if you saw the article of the New York Times. Technically, the cartel de los soles, it is not a cartel, but yet a name which I already knew that was used back in the 70s for certain Venezuelan generals that wanted the country to become socialist, but were involved in narco trafficking.
Okay, copy. All right. So with that being said, Maduro's out of there for right now.
Yep.
What do you see going forward should be the situation for Venezuela? Do you think they should put the person they voted? They said that in the last election they voted for another person. I forgot her name.
Yeah. She was the vice president, Edmundo Gonzalez and Ana Machado.
Machado. Do you think that she should be put into the position to take over the government?
She's not going to.
Mm.
She's not going to.
She's not going to, but do you think she should?
She should. Legally, she should. She should be the vice president once again. She's not the president. She would never be the president because the Constitution does not allow her to put her name on the ballot as president. But Edmundo Gonzalez should be the president. Yes. But here's the problem. they will never get to see that power. Ready? Here's the parentheses that I'm going to open.
Okay.
Maduro was illegitimately ruling Venezuela, right? That is the narrative, right?
Mm-hmm.
But why is the vice president okay to rule Venezuela right now?
Because they're gonna be the puppet.
Delcy Rodriguez is Maduro's vice president, which is an illegitimate president.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, the United States have agreed to let Congress, the Venezuelan Congress, swear the illegitimate vice president as the president of the country. Isn't that an oxymoron? How is one illegitimate, but his number two legitimate?
Yeah. No, I get that. I guess also this is
So that's
we just gonna go off of the what they're saying, and
yeah. So that's who's gonna be running. That's who's gonna be running the country. Which, believe it or not, that's gonna be worse than Maduro, because they're really the ones that were pulling the strings behind Maduro.
You talking about the U.S.?
No. I'm talking about Delcy Rodriguez, Jorge Rodriguez, Diosdado Cabello, and Vladimir Lopez. Those were the true puppet masters behind Maduro, because remember, as I said in the 90s, those were part of the coup d'etat. And if you go further back in the 70s, Delcy's father was the one that kidnapped the businessman that was from Owens and Cohen's, which was a glass company. They had kidnapped them and asked for a ransom, I believe, of like $20 million that the company had paid back then. So there's more to it. So there are the monsters that made Maduro look like a monster.
All right. So long story short, because we're gonna segue out in a bit. So long story short, Venezuela today is going to be worse off than it was a week ago.
Look at the history. Look at Haiti. Look at Iraq. Look at Iran now. Look at Libya. Look at all those countries where the U.S. entered. The only country that is not worse off is Vietnam, because they were the only country that was able to kick out the United States.
So with that being said, all of them folks here that are saying that the U.S. did a great thing, there it is. You're not even up to the situation. You ain't up to par. U.S. should have minded their motherfucking business. Should have minded their own business. But you know, U.S. talking about they want to be the police of the world, but we can't figure out shit.
There you go. There you go.
All right. So let's segue a little bit, man. As we all know right now, it's winter time. It's winter time, and we're dealing with ice. And we ain't talking about black ice on the roads. We ain't talking about ice and drinks and shit like that. We talking about immigration, customs enforcement. I hope I got the acronym right. It sounds about right.
You did. You did.
So ICE is going crazy right now. ICE has a really large presence right now in the state of Minnesota. A few days ago, a woman was shot and killed. I guess we're not foreign to ICE being able to enforce in the way that they have. ICE has been brutalizing people, U.S. citizens, immigrants, putting them in horrendous situations where, you know, they're not being taken care of when they're detained, not getting proper food, getting their medications. We also have people who are dying in there because they're not being tended to properly.
Correct.
Here in Newark, there was a Haitian man who died recently. Obviously, those are not getting the fanfare. I don't know if I'm using the right word. The how do you say? It's not in the national spotlight like everything else. But most notably, there's a woman that got killed a few days ago. Her name is Renee Good. At this point, everybody has seen the video. those who are in the know. Have you seen the video, Gene?
I have not actually seen the video.
Oh wow. Okay, you
I'm
really
I'm
off
up
the
for it
grid.
right now.
That's
Yeah, I'm
good.
really up the grid. Yeah.
I really want to be off the grid like you are, bro. I ain't gonna hold you, bro. That's because the way that video is circulating right now, it doesn't show her like the graphic part of it, but you see enough to be like, damn, that's kind of crazy how that shit went down. So there's a woman, her name Renee Good, right now in Minnesota or everywhere. When ICE comes through the community, there's people who are whistleblowers in the literal sense. Like if ICE comes through, they're blowing whistles to kind of warn people. So like whoever's not right, get up out the picture or whatever. This woman, she uses her vehicle to block off the road, so ICE can't drive through. So at a certain point, the ICE officers get out of the vehicle and they're pretty much telling her to get out the road. At a point, they get frustrated enough to be like, "Yo, get out the fucking car." Are you looking at the video right now? Okay.
That was not necessary. That was absolutely not necessary. Your life was not in danger.
Yeah. So there's a couple videos. The first video that came out is the video that came from the people's perspective, the onlookers.
Sure.
And then they're telling her to get up the fuck out the car. And then next thing you know, if you look closely, you can see the view. There's a man that's on the driver's side in front of the car.
Yep.
He puts himself there. All right. This man's looking at the video in real time, guys. This is fresh, brand new. If you look at the video, you can see you can see her turning her wheel to drive away from the situation, away from the officer who put himself in front of the vehicle. When she's driving the other way, away from the officer shoots into the car.
Well, he pulls out and shoots right into it.
Mm-hmm. And then you hear the vehicle accelerate. Obviously, at this point, she probably has perished already. With her foot on the wheel, you hear her accelerate to the point where the vehicle crashes into another vehicle. And then you go up, you see they say that she's perished, right? So now from this situation, I'm gonna give you the timeline. That video happens, and then Department of Homeland, Vice President, the President, they defend the shooter, ICE agent, 20-year vet, Jonathan Ross. They said that the officer was in fear of his life, so he discharged his weapon into the vehicle, and she passed. So that's the timeline, right? They defend him. After that, I think yesterday, they actually dropped the video from the officer's perspective. Let's keep in mind, ICE do not have body cameras.
No, they do not.
He came out of the vehicle with his video, his phone, recording. Obviously, when you're in a situation where you feel unsafe, you need to be ready to get to your weapon.
Yeah.
To, put yourself in a tactical position to, defend or whatever the situation. But obviously, he didn't feel unsafe if he had his phone in the hand. When you feel unsafe, I don't need no fucking phone. I'm getting ready to bust at you or whatever the case may be.
Sure.
So they dropped this video just to be like, oh, we told you that he was in the, he was going to be in fear of his life. But if he's in fear of his life, why is he on the phone?
Exactly.
All right. What's your thoughts, Dean? Because this is the first time seeing this video, which is, like I said.
Yeah. I don't. It's wild. I don't see. I've seen it from two angles now, and I don't see any justification for taking a woman's life. I don't see any real danger in the officer's life. I understand that kind of all happened all of a sudden, and they're making split-second decisions. But like, you're supposedly a 20-year vet. You are the reason why you have this position is because of your experience, because of your training, and it failed. The training failed in that instant, and it just kind of it just goes to show you how what I was just saying earlier, how everything is just fucked. This is what is really going on. Now you have federal authorities clashing with local authorities, when, you know, the whole point of having, you know, a federal force is to support local authorities. You know what I mean? Like, they're supposed to work together in unit for the greater good, in theory, right? And it's just like, what's going on? Like, who is the authority? Who's the right authority? You know, and it's just, this goes back to what I was saying, that everyone's just fucked, bro. What is going on right now?
And mind you, the Department of Homeland Security is there because they're supposed to be defending the homeland, but
Yeah.
instead you are sponsoring terror on the people of this country, because you're not just, you know, taking away the bad people, as you said. You're actually coming in here and intimidating people, and
killing your own
are,
citizens.
well, boom, killing. I'm gonna add context about the agent who killed Renee Good. Carlo, you had. So I see you've been scratching at the lip. I know you wanted to say something.
Yeah, let's put it. I've been through it. I've had my run-in with ICE.
Really?
And yeah, I have. In front of my door. Let's put it that way, my home door. So I learned this while I was detained. ICE does not have guidelines like the police force does. That's one. Number two, they don't have body cams like the police does.
Sure.
Okay. So ICE is like a run wild west type of organization. Whatever they feel at the moment, they could do, and they cover under the law to justify and move forward with it. Now, technically, ICE is dealing with immigrants, and the majority of these immigrants do not speak English. So they do not know their actual rights, and they do not know what to say in order for ICE not to take advantage of them. When I was apprehended in my front yard, I had around 15 agents with guns drawn for just me. The only reason why I did not get shot was because I wasn't moving and my hands were up.
That's crazy.
If I had my hands down and I was jerking or resisting per se,
Gone.
I'm dead.
Gone.
I'm dead.
So
and it will be. Yep.
Yeah. I was gonna ask. So when you were detained, how was it when you were in there? When you were
Yeah, when I was detained, it was not a pretty sight. So I was detained in a facility that had regular inmates for that facility, and then you have federal inmates, and then you have immigration inmates.
Oh, you was detained in the facility with like regular prison or
Correct.
people in jail?
Correct. Let's put it this way. From my jail cell, it so happened that when I'm looking out the window, I'm looking into another window, and I actually saw somebody that I knew from Rhode Island that was a regular prisoner. Okay. And obviously we will communicate with signs via the window. So he could tell from my uniform that I was an immigration detainee.
Yeah.
There's a difference between a detainee and a prisoner.
A prisoner. Yeah.
A detainee means you are detained, you're not charged with anything, but you're about to leave at some point in time. They're just detaining you till they figure out what to do with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Versus a prisoner, you gotta serve a specific time frame that was judgment onto you. Okay. Now, in my case, I was detained for like a year and change.
What?
That's crazy. I know they had got you. I don't remember it was a year. The fact that I can't remember it's a year had to be
What?
hell on earth for you.
Yeah.
Whoa. Time out. We're gonna backtrack this a little bit. You're telling me that you were detained by ICE for an entire year in a
For an
prison
entire
facility?
in a prison facility.
When? So give me the timeline.
So this was September 2020. I was detained for September 2020 till September 2021. I was detained.
Under what grounds?
Well, I'm an immigrant.
Yeah,
I'm
but
I'm an
what did
illegal
you?
I'm an illegal immigrant.
So it was a status issue.
It was a status issue. That's why I
But
keep doing this,
were your
because
were your papers up to date?
no, everything was up to date, but that was the pretext to be detained, because there was
Okay.
other issues going on, with my BM and whatnot. So the
Okay.
pretext
You were
was
flagged.
was to
Okay.
detain me, to get me deported. Now, guess what? The law says you can only detain someone up to 6 months.
Is that including non-citizens?
That is the law. ICE can only detain someone up to 6 months. After 6 months, if a judgment has not been taken, you must release the person.
But you were in there for a
Versus,
year and some change.
there you go. Versus police could detain you for 48 hours. If there's nothing for them to charge you, they got to release you, right? So
Okay.
take, instead of 48 hours, up to 6 months,
So
180 days.
So what's the deal on your situation? How the hell were they able to keep you that long?
So their pretext was I was a danger to society. If I was released again, most likely I would have been either back in the same facility or in maximum security, because of how much of a threat I was to the American society.
do you have a prior record?
No,
That doesn't make sense.
that is where you have the Terrorist Act come into play.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
So that's what when I tell you, ICE does not have guidelines or or rules like regular police. That is why.
So wait a minute. So who is the regulatory body governing ICE then?
Homeland Security,
Department. Homeland. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Department of Homeland Security. But
Okay.
ICE is a police force within Homeland Security. So guess what? Homeland Security has its agents. Then you have Border Patrol. Then you have ICE. And then you have then you have ERO. ERO is when they grab you off the streets. So ERO, HSI, and ICE work together to apprehend people. ICE does not need a warrant, while ERO and HSI do. ICE does not need a warrant. They could simply stop you in the middle of the street just by the way you look, by the way you sound, and ask you for your legal status in this country.
Yeah.
Wild. Absolutely wild.
Okay, so now
So,
so you said up to 6 months. So when the 6 month mark came up and you was a day over, what was going on in your
so
head?
that
Like, what were they telling you?
oh no, so what helped me was the fact that I knew English.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, I knew English and I knew my rights. Most ICE detainees do not speak English. They use a translator, which I have witnessed where the translator translate the wrong thing
Okay.
and get people deported. I have witnessed it with my own eyes. Okay. And not only that, they don't know their rights. And half of the time, they don't even have a lawyer to help them out through the process. And some of the ones that do have a lawyer are government appointed lawyers. So think of public defenders. The same
Yeah.
thing that happens with public defenders is the same thing that happens at the federal level.
And mind you, right now there's a shortage of immigration judges, so the backlog has to be insane.
Correct. Correct. And the best way to expedite through that backlog, deport, 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 because there's no investigation, there's no looking into it, there's nothing for you to look into it. If you appeal, you have 60 days to appeal. If your appeal fails again, you can always appeal. But guess what? Most detainees don't know that.
Okay.
Okay.
So in the meanwhile, as far as you being in there, how are you being treated? Like, what were you eating? Shower situation, cleanliness. What was it looking like in there for y'all?
So,
Was it the
so
same
you have
situation like the prisoners, or the same exact
so
thing, or
so
was it a little
yeah.
different for y'all?
So you have your three meals, which are ration, right? It's portioned out for you. It's not like you can have extras. And then you have access to the canteen, but you gotta have money, or someone has to put money on your books in order for you to buy, food from the canteen. So that's one. When it comes to cleanliness, you take your shower. So that's up to you how clean you want to be. But they do supply you with, toiletries for you to be up to keep with your cleanliness. But then again, if you don't know English, how are you gonna communicate? Okay, and by the time the translator comes around, the translator is not there every single day. They're there every other day or every 3 days, and they have a short time span that they're in that block to help you out, because they have other blocks that they need to go to.
All right, so that's crazy.
Okay, and an immigration detainee does not have the same rights as a prisoner. A prisoner at any point in time can request to speak to their lawyer, not an immigration detainee. You must wait for the right time frame of a certain day to request that, and that must be submitted via writing.
Okay, so what ultimately, when did you ultimately get out of there, and how were you able to do that? Because it seemed like they could have just detained you for however long they wanted to, until they just really just got you out of here.
So in September 2021, with me nagging and my lawyers pushing, I had my own private lawyer, and my parents pushing, is pretty much, is when they said, so their excuse was, we was trying to look for other countries that would take him in order for us to deport him. Without any due process, by the way. Without any due process, because immigration law says, if while you're being detained, they must check 3 to 5 different countries that are willing to take you as a citizen in order for them to deport you before a judge can decide on your case.
Unmute yourself, Gene, if you had something.
Unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself. I had the background sound.
No, I'm good. I had nothing to say.
Okay.
So all of that, all that is happening. So during that extra time frame, they're looking for a country. I mean, they even look for Russia to take me. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you.
That's crazy. What your black ass was gonna do in Russia?
Exactly. I mean, thankfully, with God's help, none of the countries said no, including Haiti said no. So I had to wait for a judge to make a decision on my case. That's why I'm here today.
That's wild. Haiti didn't want you.
Even Haiti didn't want me, bro. Even Haiti didn't want me, yo. That is crazy, bro. Nobody wanted me. Dude, DR didn't want me. Cuba didn't want me.
Christ.
Russia didn't want me. Haiti didn't want me. Nicaragua didn't want me. Dude, they checked a lot of countries. to
Do
try
you
to
feel
get me deported.
do you feel some type of way that nobody wanted you? It's like
I get
it's different if you a girl's be like, I don't want to mess with that dude, but a whole country
right.
be like, no, a negro, no Afro Latino here,
Seriously,
no.
seriously, seriously. But hey, all I could say is thank God for that, because believe it or not, if Russia had said yes,
Ooh,
guess what? I'm shipped off to Russia with no family, no communication, nothing. You know?
it,
And guess what? In a situation like that, you get shipped out. Doesn't matter where you land. Now you become responsibility of the country where you are now. So they could
yeah,
put you in jail all over again. They could put you, if you get deported to a country that deals with labor, with enslaved laborers, you could be one of those. Like it's wild. It's wild.
that's crazy. That's crazy. Well, we definitely glad to see you out of that situation.
Seriously.
Yeah, people dealing with ICE on a regular basis right now is just nuts. Like people are really starting to literally make noise. Like after that shooting, you had masses of people going outside of the hotels where ICE is staying at and making tremendous amounts of noise to keep them from sleeping. I feel like it's kind of hard nowadays to really protest. It's like we're not really seeing the results of those said protests, and they make it hard for you to protest. If you don't have the right permits, it's hard to assemble. You can go to jail.
Correct.
Once you get a record, now you can't feed yourselves because you ain't got no job type stuff. So it's hard. So shout out to the people who are doing so and trying to do some type of thing to kind of be humans in this particular situation. The agent that shot Renee Good, his name is Jonathan Ross. He's a 20-year vet. If you're not aware, right now the excuse that the Department of Homeland and his representatives are trying to use is the fact that he was in a situation last year where he was trying to pull someone over. He put himself in a situation. He put his hands inside the vehicle, and he was dragged for over 200 feet. The point where he was injured, had to get some stitches and things of that sort. So right now they're trying to kind of use. Oh, and he's also a military vet. Right now they're trying to use the fact that he was in a previous situation where he was injured, as if he had like some type of how do you call it? When you're in a situation where you're hurt, what is it? Like trauma, like some previous trauma.
PTSD.
PTSD.
Correct.
To kind of justify what he did. Now, if you know law enforcement to a degree, I know when I was in the police program and also heard, caught myself up a little bit. You are not permitted to shoot into a vehicle, a moving vehicle. People are saying, people that support the administration and support these actions, they say he was right in the right, for trying to defend himself. But if you know better, you're not supposed to shoot into a vehicle. You shoot into a vehicle, the person gets hurt, the vehicle can lose control, meaning that vehicle can now hit people who are on the side. It could hit another vehicle. It could hit some bystander. Thank God the vehicle ran into another parked car. It did not hit somebody on the side. Because now you're not really de-escalating the situation. You're not keeping people safe. You're actually endangering people. This is exactly why that one officer in the Breonna Taylor shooting some years ago got charged for a wanton shooting. Wanton shooting means you're just shooting with no aim or purpose, which means you can randomly hit somebody that has nothing to do with that particular situation.
Yeah, sure.
So no, it's definitely unfortunate. And I don't know. I know there's a sheriff in Philadelphia that said if ICE comes to the city and thinks they could just do whatever they want to do, like they're doing in Minnesota, she gonna lock your ass up. and she's
We'll
one
see.
of the.
We'll see.
We'll
Philly.
see. Yeah, well, we respect it. We respect it for being out loud about it. There's one thing you can say something, but if you do something, that's a whole nother situation. So we'll see. Hopefully, it doesn't have to come about, but if it does, hopefully she sticks to her word, and she's a brave woman for saying that. Also, keep in mind she's black, so of course kids that heat.
Of course.
Yeah. So-
Remember, keep in mind that ICE doesn't abide to rules like regular law enforcement. They pretty much could do whatever they want. Now, another thing is when it comes to federal agencies, they could change their tags when it's convenient for them. Okay?
Great.
So let's say you see ICE, but they do something that they're not supposed to. Guess what? They could switch their tags up HSI.
Yeah.
Now they're within the jurisdiction to do something. Or they could switch it up to U.S. Marshal. We're apprehending someone. Or they could switch it up to FBI. That's what federal agencies do, internationally and domestically. I mean, everyone knows the CIA cannot operate within the United States, right? But guess what? They could operate when they're attached to one of the other agencies, as an attaché. So that's when I tell you, ICE is one of those entities that is a wild, wild west. If they feel they threaten, they could do whatever they want, and the law supports it.
Well, it's unfortunate, and that's why I know it's tough. We always talk. I know for me, always be talking about voting. I know some people think it's fake, and I get it. I get it. I respect the thought. But I feel like sitting here, hands down, not doing anything, just allowing it to happen. That's why I say, I think it's crucial for people to, to vote. At least try something. Rather try than not do nothing at all. At least vote, so that way, hopefully, these laws can be, looked at, and something could be done about it. It's unfortunately, it's a good thing that this stuff is really out loud right now. A lot of people are being affected, not just the immigrants, but people of the United States. Seeing people just federal agencies just do whatever the fuck they want. Hopefully people can vote and try to figure out a way to keep this shit from happening. They need to have body cameras on. They can't, I don't think people should have masks on. Why are you scared? You shouldn't be scared if you was doing your job right. You get to be, I think that's pussy behavior, to be honest with you. If you was really doing the right thing, you should have nothing to be scared of. Straight like that. So anyways, prayers out to Renee Good. Prayers out to
Absolutely.
the Haitian dude that died in the jail. Prayers to everybody just being affected by all this mess that the Orange Man has put us into. I'm gonna switch up the topic. I'm gonna keep it really light. From here on out. So there's a pastor. His name is Jamal Bryant. He's one of the activist pastors right now who are trying to, make changes for the better. He's one of the architects of the boycott against Target, trying to, sway, use dollars to help sway like Target was, doing things who are anti-DEI, things of that sort. So he's trying to sway away dollars from Target because they're bending the knee to the president, things of that sort. So he's been doing some good work out there. Shout out to Pastor Bryant. The reason we're talking about Pastor Bryant today is because Pastor Bryant, Jamal Bryant, his wife, Dr. Carrie Bryant, was at a gala last month, and she was wearing a dress. Pretty much a see-through dress, even though she had her parts covered up. It was a see-through type dress. And there was a big backlash at it. The internet went nuts, and then Pastor Bryant had a sermon after that backlash and pretty much said he bought the dress for his wife, and was defending the behavior or defending the dress. And really, to me, he took it some type of way. Yes, he defended his wife, but he really took it some type of way and was really petty about it too. And it sucks because he's a pastor doing good things, but I guess humans gonna be humans. Pastors fuck up too. I'm gonna say if nobody else wants to. What's your thoughts about a person who's supposed to have responsibility as holy people, preaching the good word? I saw your face, Gene. What's your thoughts about people's telling people what to do, like having that pulpit, and yet they get to just do whatever they want?
I mean, I saw the dress. I don't really see what the big controversy is about, to be honest with you. I mean, yes, it shows skin, but it's still tasteful. She's still covered, right? Like, and a majority of her body, I feel like, is covered. If we're talking about the same dress that I saw online,
Yeah.
I don't think it was that big of a deal. I we have to remember, even though these people are leaders in the community and they're supposedly holy people, they're still people. They still they're still human beings doing human things, right? And what's holier than femininity, right? The beauty of femininity. And I feel like that dress kind of accents that. I don't think she was being slutty. I don't think it was a hoish looking dress. Again, I'm assuming this is the same, we're all talking about the same exact dress. I just don't understand what the uproar is about. I feel like the look that people assume that she should have is an outdated one. It's an archaic way of looking at things. That's my thought.
Yeah. So I think the issue that happened was, everyone's view for churchgoers is a certain thing.
Yeah.
Right. When it comes to churchgoers, they box everyone that goes to church in this tight-knit box that they got to look a certain way. They can't wear certain things. They can't do certain, you know what I mean? Yes, there's certain things you cannot do. Sure, there's certain clothes you cannot wear. But as Gene was stating, like, for example, in my religion, what's practices, if it's the norm in fashion, then it is okay. Now, if you are the one that stands out, meaning you're disrupting wherever you are, everyone's attention because of your fashion, then it's wrong. And guess what? I think that's how it should be. If her fashion statement did not disrupt the views or the attention of everyone that was there, then guess what? She's in the right. If it did, if people were focused on her instead of that, then as a leader, you need to tone it down, because you don't want to impede someone in the church, not doing what they're supposed to do, instead focusing on you. So unfortunately, because of society's view of how churchgoers should be, she was impeding. She was being too loud because they want to box her in a specific place. But when you put her in any other scenario, she's overdressed.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, if she were, if she were in the midst of her peers at a brunch, she's overdressed. If she was at a concert, she's overdressed. If she's at the club, she's overdressed. If she's at the restaurant, she's overdressed. But because she's the pastor's wife, they want to put her in a specific bracket that they want her to look like. So I kind of agree with what Gene said.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, only for the fact that, like, as far as people who are who are preaching the word. I know you were saying something about the femininity part, Gene. At the same time, it's like it's a see-through type dress. Of course, all the parts, as far as like her her body parts were covered with some type of like some type of material. It still gave off the element of sexuality. I'm saying you have the lines that are going towards her vagina. You know what I'm
Sure,
saying?
sure.
So it to me it's just weird. It's
I
just
know what you're
weird.
saying. I know what you're saying. I feel like that's kind of a problem with religion, right? The repression part of it, right? Sexuality is part of the human experience, and I feel like the repression of it and the almost kind of I can't that maybe the prudeness of it. I don't know what the word is, but like I
Mhm.
think that's a problem. I don't think it was overtly sexual. Yes, it was suggestive, sure, but I don't think it was overtly sexual in a untasteful way, right? I don't think it was something that should be considered beneath um, a woman of her stature. I don't think it was anything crazy at all. And I am younger than generations before us that would kind of look at that and frown on it. I am a little bit more alternative in thinking. I recognize that, but I don't see the big deal at the end of the day. I don't think she was spreading any kind of negative message or even contradicting the message she was by.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of understand what you're saying, D. Because you're looking at it from a religious standpoint, right? And we going back to this box of how they want people that are churchgoers to look like, right? So pretty much the word is modesty, right? So you're looking. So the Bible says, "Wife, dress modestly," you know,
Mhm.
according to the word. But guess what? When you're looking at the dress, this is a gala. Yes, it's tight, but what does the fashion of today's society dictates?
I mean, I also think that she could. It's no one in the world is saying that she cannot dress sexy. I don't believe that modest and sexy have to be two different words.
There
You know what I'm
you
saying?
go.
You could still wear a tight dress. I don't see the issue with that. You know, but something that's kind of revealing. It to me, like I said, it seems weird. You know what I'm saying?
It
Because
it
you also have to know your audience, right? You have young
there you go.
people, you have old people. You know what I'm saying? And I think depending on your position, you have to know your audience, and you have to know it comes with a certain responsibility. Yes, we know you're
Yep.
human, but you know, you when you're in a position like that, I think you need to know, you understand. I mean, they probably did that. You're gonna get anything that's done in public. There's gonna be some type of response. It could be a
Scrutiny.
backlash. It could be positive, negative, or whatever. You have to be able to be open to that. You know, no one's gonna take the disrespect part. We're not talking about disrespect, but you're open to scrutiny when you're in the public eye.
Correct.
But the response was just hella petty to me. That's what I thought.
Okay.
But you
But
know what?
obviously,
But you know what
you're
though?
gonna defend your wife for sure anyway. So
But but you know what? That same dress without the nude color is no issue. The problem of that dress is the see-through part. That's the problem.
that's the
But
only.
guess what?
Mhm.
Guess what? If you understand women's fashion, a lot of the time that see-through is technically not see-through. It's just a nude, um, it's like a nude, what was that word called? It's like a silhouette type of thing. It's actually you're not seeing the actual skin. You're just
Yeah,
seeing
get
the
it.
cloth, the nude cloth. So I think that's what's causing the scrutiny is that color.
It
But
gives
if it
off the.
was,
Yeah, I think
yeah,
it gives off the doggone. It gives the implication. It's like it if it almost gives off like lingerie type vibe.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. There you go. So like Gene said, it's suggestive, is insinuating, but
But
if
that's the problem in itself right there. The suggesting and
yes,
insinuating,
you're
you should
right.
know better.
You're right.
You
You exactly, because you should know the audience that you have looking at you, right? And going back to this stereotype that how churchgoers should look like. But because that stereotype is never going to change anytime soon, we're talking about centuries that stereotype has been around, then you got to be aware, like you said, of your audience. But in reality, the dress does not have an issue at all, but because it's her wearing it, that's where the issue comes into play. So she should have been smarter in wearing all black, but it's subjective.
I mean, let's be honest. I know we talking about a women's dress, but as a guy, let's say you're at a gala and you see her, you're not looking.
Of course. You're trying to determine if it's the cloth or if it's her actual skin. That's what you're trying to determine.
You know what I mean? There's that part, but you looking like you at this point, whatever message the pastor's talking about, you ain't really trying to hear that. You be like, damn, look at that. Dr.
No, you're
Brown's
right.
on some shit and they should look cool. And meanwhile,
You're right.
you don't miss 3 minutes of what the hell they talking about.
So back to what I was saying, if you're being disruptive in what you're wearing, then you must not wear it, because you're bringing all the attention to you. Especially, listen, when it comes to church, all the attention goes to God, right? You're there for God's purpose. You're not there for you to show off your latest Fashion Nova outfit. That's what you're not there for that. You're there to worship God. So in religion, the rule is, if what you're wearing distracts everyone around you, then you must not wear it to come to church. But guess what? Here's where the controversy comes into play. She was not at church. She was at a gala.
She was at a gala, correct.
Okay. So was she appropriate for that gala? That is the question.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Like,
Yes.
Now, if it was a church event, then guess what? No, it's not appropriate for the church event. But for that gala, it is appropriate. So, and plus the pastor, I mean, he got to defend his wife tooth and nail, or else he's on the couch in the doghouse. So, that's his job. If he doesn't say something, his relationship is on the rocks too. So, even if his thought is, damn, maybe you shouldn't, but publicly, he got to defend his woman.
You gotta go on the firing line. You gotta be the target.
Exactly. Exactly. He got to be that shield for her. So he has to take it all in.
Hey, yo, that's crazy. But yeah, we get it. Take one for the team.
There you go. Yeah.
It's different. Man, yo, boys, we done had a conversation today. I appreciate y'all coming back or coming on to the show.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the invite.
Work-wise, you already know it, bro. You already know it, man. Hopefully we can get you guys in here for another one. You know what I'm saying? We could talk about some lighter topics. This one was a little bit deep today. But it's been good. It's been conversation. I don't know if you guys want to. You go ahead and share your socials. If you like.
Well, my socials, IG is Shadow2185. Every other platform is Shadow2385. Facebook is Carlo Jr. or Carlo Venezuelan. Easy to find.
You can find me on IG at Jean Joel, JeanJowel. Real easy to find me.
Yes, sir. And you already know what it is. SDP Talks on Instagram, Certain Pot Talks on Facebook. Appreciate you guys for tuning in for another episode. Make sure you check back in. We got some more going for you. All right. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for the time.
All right.
All right. And as we always say, peace in.